Hello everybody, my name is Ed Thompson and I am the host of the Genealogy Software Showcase. If this is your first time joining us, welcome and feel free to ask questions in the comments. Now, I have been asked since the beginning of the Software Showcase to showcase the software that I'm about to show you. It is free for Linux users. It is also free for PC users and for Mac users. It's a little bit different than other tree building programs, however, and you're going to have to decide for yourself if it's the right choice for you. And yes, I'm talking about the program Gramps. Now, I'm going to bring it up here in just a moment. There we go. Let me share my screen and not make the same mistake I made a couple weeks ago. There we go. Now, this is the interface that you see when you first start Gramps. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the basic test. Now, for those of you who did not see the first few episodes of the showcase, the basic test is where I enter 3 generations of my direct line family tree, Thompson, and we get a sense of what it's like to do the data entry portion of our genealogy tasks. It will help us determine how Gramps handles dates. It'll help us determine how Gramps handles places. And it will help us determine how Gramps handles relationships. So let's get started. First, when Gramps first starts, it actually presents you with the screen I'm about to show you. And I'm going up here to Family Trees and choosing Manage Family Trees. And you see here that I've got 2 family trees already. Gramps comes with a demo family tree, which is there at the top. And then I've entered my direct line ancestors, and I called it Gramps Direct. Now, what I want to do is create a brand new family tree so that we can see what the program's like to use from the start. So I'm going to click New, and it defaults to Family Tree 1. That's as good a name as any. I'm going to hit Enter, and then I'm going to select Load Family Tree. So I am now on, let's go to the dashboard screen. Okay, so this is actually the first screen that you see, and it shows you a session log, a to-do box, frequently asked questions, and a list of possible records. Now, I had gotten into the program a little bit earlier, and you see here 3 columns. But what the program actually does initially is to come up in a 1-column mode. I mean a 2-column mode. So if I go here into General, let's see here. Display. Where was it that showed me the columns? Give me 1 second here. Okay, surely it's at the very beginning then. In the General tabs. Well, we'll come back to that. I think it's a right-click option somewhere here. But what you see on the screen are what are called Gramplets. In other programs, you have them called widgets, and there are a ton of Gramplets out there. The Gramps program is highly extensible, which means more and more is being added every day, really. And you can bring in the Gramplets that you like, which is something I'll show you after we do the basic test. But that's the dashboard. You look here, and we see people, and of course, we don't have any people yet. Relationships, families, charts, events, places, geography, sources, citations, repositories, media, and notes. I feel like I'm declaring the titles of the Jeopardy round. Now, we're interested in people, and there are multiple ways. I'm on the People tab. There are multiple ways to add people. I can select, right-click, and select Add. I can select the plus button, which is what I'm going to do. And I am presented with a pop-up. So the ancestors that I want to enter today is my great-grandfather Frank Verling Thompson. Oops, Frank Verling. And if I'm going to tab twice over, if he had a prefix like Von Thompson or something like that, I would enter that here, and then the next one is Thompson. Now, I got you here. I frequently, oh, actually, I frequently entered in the surname in the first box, but that'd be wrong because it's a prefix. It's the second box on the surname line I want to use. And did I type that wrong? Yeah. Okay. And what else I can do is I can enter gender. And of course he was male. And is that it? That's probably all I want to start with. And I'm going to hit OK. And you see now in the list that I have Frank Verling Thompson, my great-grandfather. Now, if I click on him in the window below, I can select details, gallery, events, and of course I want to add a couple of events here. I can do that in the window here, right there. I can add events, or I can do it from this page here, which is actually, no, this is just a display. So I have to go to the pop-up window. Okay, so let's do that. And Gramps presents us with a role drop-down. So what is the role of Frank in his birth? Okay, well, it could be primary, it could be family, it could be informant, it could be a witness. You understand that these would make more sense in other events. So he is the primary participant in his birth. The date of his birth, and I need to check my notes here, was June. Oh, hold on. He was born in 14th of June, 1891. So for the first time, I'm going to go 14th of June, 1891. And one of the things I like to see is, will Gramps format this in a consistent format? And ID and description. Now, if I want to enter a birthplace, this works a little bit differently. I need to click under place on either select an existing place, okay, and you see I don't have any existing places, or I can add a new place. And that's what I'm going to do. And the new place is Abington, Massachusetts. And type is, this was a town. Okay. I could enter longitude and latitude. I'm going to come back to places, though, a little bit later. So I'm going to add that. And you see now that Frank was born in Abington, Mass. Now, I could have said Abington and then do the county and then Massachusetts and then do the country. I didn't, because I plan on using this later to demonstrate Gramps' support for places. I select OK, and now I have a birth event. And it's formatted in this format here. We'll come back to formatting there. I want to add his death. It automatically defaulted to death for me. It anticipated what I was probably going to do next. And he died 9th of October, 1967. So I'm going to do 10/9/1967. And you see it went red because of that initial slash. And I'm hoping it'll normalize that. And the place he died, now for speed's sake, I'm not going to enter the place of everything. I just wanted to have at least one place in the place database. It wasn't in Abington. So I'll select enter, and yes, it normalized the date. So I'm going to select OK, and I've got the first person in my tree. And if I was to go to charts, you see here that I've got one person in my tree. All right, so one of the things I like, there's a particular date format that I prefer. And if I go up to where is it? Preferences, and choose display, I can actually choose a default display format. So I can drop down here, and I want, let's see, day, month, year. No. Month, day, year. Month, day, year. Day, month, year is the one I like. Changing the date format will not take effect until the next time Gramps is started. Okay, well, let's kill Gramps. I wonder why that is. I need to restart it. Y'all are quiet in the comments today. I'm just saying. I'm going to load that same tree, tip of the day, and you see here that it's not what I wanted really. I wanted the day number and then a 3-character date and then a year, which I'm sure I could get it to that because the program is very flexible along those lines, but I'm not going to stop to create my own custom date format at this time. So I've got my first person, I've got his birth, and I have his death. Now, I have several options here for entering the next person. I can enter Charles as a separate person. Let me actually do that. So Frank's father was Charles H. Thompson, and he was a male. And let me enter his birth from here this time. His birth date was June of 1851. So June 1851. I don't have an exact date. Actually, I do somewhere. But I want to see how it handles this date format. And hit OK. And I've got his date there. And then his death date was April 10th, 1898. April 10, 1898. You see what I'm doing here is I'm using different formats for entering the dates. Okay, and I have his birth and death, and I'm going to save him, and you see now if I click on that, I've got his birth and death information here. Now, right now, there is no relationship between Charles and Frank. And this is one of the areas where Gramps can be a little bit different, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm going to click here on the Relationships tab, and you see here that it brings up Frank Verling Thompson. Since that was the person that I had selected, I could edit him, and or I could add his parents. And my choice is to add a person as a child to an existing family, add a person as a child to an existing family, or add a new set of parents. I'm going to add him to an existing family, and I don't have an existing family. So let me go back, and I'm going to go down here to Families. And I'm going to add a new family where the father is Charles H. Thompson. Now notice I don't have a mother here. And then I'm going to click out of there, okay? And then I'm going to go back to, so I have a family where Charles H. Thompson is now the head of that family. Do you see how this is a little bit different from how other programs think about building out their relationships? I will show you that you can do it in a more traditional format, but I'm going to go back to Relationships, and I'm going to select Add to Family, and the family head is Charles H. Thompson, and I'm going to select OK. And now I have a family with the parents of is Charles H. Thompson, the mother is unknown, and there's a list here of siblings. Now, one of the things that took me a little while to realize here is it's really, when it says siblings, it's really children, because you see that Frank himself is listed as one of the children. But if I wanted to add other children of Charles H. Thompson, I could do that by adding them here. So now I have a relationship between Frank and Charles. What about his mother? Well, here I could add a new set of parents, which I don't want to do. Add a person as a child to existing family, which I just did. Or I can edit the parents. So let me try that. And I still have Charles, but what I want to add now is the mother. And I am going to add a new person, and that is Sarah Jane. And her last name was Raymond. I'm going to come down here and add her birth event. And she was born January 1850. I don't know exactly when. Let's enter that. What if I do this? Let's see how that gets converted. Hit OK. And you see it converted it into January 1850. That's good. I'm going to add another event, which is her death. And Sarah Jane died 10th of December, 1912. 10th of December, 1912. And this is really how I'd like the dates to display. Okay, so I have a new person, Sarah Jane Thompson. I'm going to click OK. And now Sarah Jane is the mother of, is the wife of Charles Thompson and the mother of Frank. Select OK. And boom, boom, on the relationships chart, I have the first two generations that I want to enter. Let me go back over here to families. And you see here now the family is listed as Charles H. Thompson, and the mother is Sarah Jane. Okay? And it does not, if I come down here and say children, I can get Frank Verling as the children. Now let me bounce back over here to the people. And there are a couple different ways to display the people. You see, I can see the events and if they have any children, etc., just by selecting different people. And there's two different ways to display people in this list. One is to have one long complete list. The other is I can group them by surname. And you see here when I sum it up, Sarah Jane, of course, was a Raymond, and Frank and Charles were both Thompsons. I'm just showing you it can do that. I prefer the original, what I had before. All right, so what do I want to do next? Well, right now, I don't have the marriage of Sarah Jane and Charles. So I want to enter that. Now, can I do it from the relationships screen? It doesn't look like it because I don't have access to any events. Let's go down here to the events screen. Okay, and you see here when I click on events, it actually shows me every single event that I have in the system. And I could add that event here. I don't think that's real practical because I want to work within the realm of the family. So let me go to families, and you see I can add a family event. Oh, actually, I need to edit families. And I can add a family event. And this actually shows me all the events in the family. Let me click on that. Let me click on that. And I'm going to add a new event. Now, I need to be careful here. I want this to be a family event because I don't want it under the father or the mother. I want it under the family category. And you see here it's already anticipated that I want to do marriages. And they were married, let's see here, 18th of September, 1889. 18th of September, 1889. I caught my typo. That's good. Again, I'm not going to worry about place. And now I have a family event for Charles and Sarah Jane, their marriage. Let me pull that back up, however. So what I don't have is it doesn't indicate over here we scroll over, who the participants were in that event. Now, I thought I saw something odd before. I want to close that out. And then I'm going to open that back up. Marriage, September, description, notes, gallery, attributes, references. Okay, so it's referenced as a family there. The name is Charles H. Thompson and Sarah Jane Raymond. And now if I look at, let me go to events and just pull up the marriage event. Nope, it's not. Displaying notes, attributes, references. Okay, so now it has listed the main participants as Charles and Sarah Jane. If you notice that it didn't populate the participants field right away, and I'm not sure which of my clicking around finally updated the entry in from the database to show them as the participants in that event. And I just wanted to show you that. It's not a killer. It can be a little bit confusing not seeing that at first, but yeah, it looks like it was okay. So select them. There are no events. Yeah, there's the marriage event for the family. And if I were to scroll over, let me see if I can close this. No. Okay. I would see the main person. Say, oh, I can drag that. Since I didn't enter a place, I should be able to drag that. Nope, doesn't look like I can. All right, so let's do one more generation. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we're okay. I'm going to do one more generation. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Charles. I'm on the family list. Okay. Relationship, Charles. Ooh, accidentally. Yeah. Okay, I accidentally removed him. Didn't mean to do that. If I edit Charles, let's see. Is that the best place? No. Let me go to families. And I am going to add a new family. The father is a new person, and his name was Daniel Hart Thompson. And he was a male, and I guess that defaulted to male because of where I populated him from. And his birth, let me stop saying and. 1st of June, 1829. 1st of June, 1829. I am going to add a place this time. Woburn, Mass. And that is, let's call it a city. Okay. All right. And he died on 30th of July, 1893. July 30th, 1893. And also, that was also in Woburn, Mass. So let me select it from the list. Boom, and I have his two events. I want to try something here. I don't think I tried this before, so I need to add the mother and then hook them up. Save changes. Yep. Okay, so I've got two families now. I want to go over to the charts. So can I give myself a little more room here? Yeah, I can. All right, so I've got the beginnings of my pedigree. If I click on, yeah, so I can now add Charles as a child of from here. But if I do that, I've already created the family. So I don't want to do it from there. So let me close without saving. Let me, if I click that, nope, this was there. So I could add stuff from here, which is what I did in the demonstration from other programs. But since I've already created the family, I'd probably mess something up. So let me open that family back up. Let me add the mother. And her name is Abigail. C. I think Abigail B. I won't put the name there. And her name is Coates. And there were so many different ways to spell that. She's a female, so it defaulted. I can change it if it was the same-sex couple. I will add her birth event. And she was born in 1829 in Hardwick, Vermont. 1829. I'm going to add a new one. Hardwick, comma, VT. And that is let's call it a town. Hit OK, and she died in 9th of November, 1856. November 9th, 1856. Okay. All right. And I have Abigail as the mother. And then for children, I can add someone I've already got in my list. And that would be Charles H. Thompson. Relationship to the father. Notice here when I added it from here, relationship to the father, it could be adopted, could be birth, could be foster, and the same for the mother. I could also add citations here. Now, I'm not going to get into citations because the amount of time we have during the showcase. I will, when I do, I'm going to do an episode on how to do citations in a broad range of these programs, and I'll include Gramps in that roundup. I'm going to select OK. Select OK here. And let me go to charts. And you see here now I've got my 3 generations. I don't have a marriage event, so that would be the last thing I wanted to add. Let me go back to the families. Events. Well, let me families, edit, events. I want a family event. It would be the marriage. And they were married 10th of October, 1846. 10th of October, 1846. And I am going to add a place for that, so I can demonstrate something else. I'm going to add Middlesex, Massachusetts. Now, Middlesex is actually a county, not a town. And it did not like that date format because I had the comma there. Okay, boom. And now I have all of my family tree, the one I wanted to enter. It's displaying the marriage month there. I'm not seeing it display the marriage there. Let me see. Did that not take? Children, events. What happened to my marriage? You saw me enter it, right? I wonder if I accidentally deleted it. Oh, not going to worry about it. Let me see. Is it in here? Yeah, it's here. But somehow it got disconnected from the family. That's interesting. Can I add it back? Let's select an event. Marriage. Okay. Family. Notes, attributes, general. Okay. Okay, is everyone happy now? Yes, everyone's happy now. Okay, so that is basic functionality, the basic tasks as performed in Gramps. So it seems to handle places pretty well. It seems to handle dates pretty well. For places, I do have to add them as I go, so there's no list of places that I can choose from. But that's not a deal killer in and of itself. Let's see what this looks like. Can I do that? No. get sidetracked. Don't do that, Ed. Okay. So let's talk about one of the unique things about Gramps, which is what they call Gramplets. And Gramplets are these little add-ons, add-on widgets that you can move around and you can add them in different places. So let me go back to my dashboard, and if I right click here in the open space, and sometimes there's a drop down that will let me do this. I can restore a Gramplet that I previously deleted. I can add a new Gramplet. I can delete Gramplets. So let me delete all the Gramplets from my dashboard. And I want to add a Gramplet. I can restore anything that I had here that I previously chosen. But if I select Add Gramplet, you see that there's a whole bunch of categories here that I can choose from about what I want in my dashboard. So maybe I want a surname cloud. Okay, so it's not truly being displayed as a cloud. It's really just because I don't have enough surnames. But if I had a lot more surnames, matter of fact, let's look at my other family tree where I do. And it's processing. Okay, now I have a more traditional surname cloud. Now I set up for 3-column mode. I'll be honest with you, I forgot how I did that. But if I right click over here, I can add a Gramplet here. Let's see what age stats is. This is number of people in a particular age range with some differences. That's interesting. I'd have to play with that. Add a Gramplet. Quick view. Okay, sorted events of Thompson Raymond Brooks. Now, why did it choose him? He must be the current person I have selected. If I was going over to people, yes, he's the current person I have selected. So it's based on whoever your current person is. I can add a Gramplet for records. That looks interesting. What it considers records. Now, can I drag this? Okay, I can minimize it. Let me add that one over here. And boom. So you get the sense of what you can move around. Now, let's talk about places. And there's nothing here for places. When I started looking around, if you remember on the episode when I was reviewing Family Historian, 7 Days with Family Historian, one of the things I did to exercise the program was I merged and added and organized places. And when I went to places, there really wasn't a good place to do that from. These are all the places I have here. Let me go back to the family tree where I added. It was family tree number 1. Okay, so I have this list of places, and they're kind of all over the place here. And what I'd really like to do is I'd like to organize places a little bit better. I'm going to turn off the filter. Oh, so here I go. I can add Gramplets. Now, the filter does not have to be here. I can remove the filter Gramplet if I want to. Oh, you're not seeing it because it's over on that side of the window. Let me drag that over there. And so when I select this drop down, I can add another Gramplet, more Gramplets. I can remove a Gramplet, so I could remove the filter Gramplet, or I could restore the defaults, which I think is the state it's in right now. And what I actually want to do is I want to add a Gramplet. Now, before this episode, I actually had to add the place cleanup Gramplet. So it was not one of the default Gramplets provided by, when you first load the program. And the way that I added that, make sure I get this in the right place. I can come back over here to Preferences, go back to Edit and Preferences, and down here I can configure third-party add-ons management. I can say how often I want it to automatically check for change updates or additions to new gramplets. I can wait to check. I can check new and updated add-ons. I can check add-ons, new add-ons only, or I can check update to add-ons. And I have here a URL about where to check, and you can get that information from the Gramps webpage, which I'll show you in a bit. I'm going to check for updated add-ons now, and now I have this pop-up that shows me different categories of gramplets that I can add or update. I'm going to go here. I think it was under, no, it wasn't under View. I went under Gramplets, and this is where I found the Place Gramplet. And if I wanted to add the Place Gramplet, which I did, I would select on this. Now this looks like it's an update to the person overview, and then I could install additional add-ons. It says here when add-on was installed, if you installed a Gramps view, you would need to restart Gramps. That's not a Gramps view, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then under my dashboard, what happened to my dashboard? Let me add the, if I go to People and select, remember this was a person add-on, add Gramplet Quick View, it was Person View. So where is the new view I found? Did it add it under Places when I was there? No, it did not. Add a Gramplet. Interesting. So let me exit the program as it said I might have to do, even though I didn't change a Gramplet view. Maybe it was a Gramplet view. Same database. Tip of the day. And let me go to my dashboard. And I've lost everything on my dashboard. Interesting. So here's one of the things. Gramplet is an open source project maintained by the community. And I did find some quirky things about it. Like that shouldn't have happened. You know, before I had some stuff on there. Now I don't have anything on my dashboard. I do occasionally find quirky things about it. So I'm going to add a Gramplet. And can I add the person view here? No. But add the first day in family, this day in family history here. Let me add a calendar. Let me add, give a name cloud this time. Let me add statistics about my database. Okay. So maybe I needed to save something. Yeah, I don't see where I did. So I'm not quite sure why that disappeared. Let me come back over to People. And can I add that person view Gramplet? And I'm a person view summary Gramplet, and I'm not seeing it. So I think it's there. I think I need to read the instructions on their website for that particular Gramplet to see where it should have popped up. Maybe it's here under Details. Maybe that's not how it was shown up before. All right, let's go back to when I started. So I'm going to go back to our list of wonky places. And I added a Gramplet here called Place Update. And that is not the one I wanted. Remove Gramplet, Place Update. What I wanted was Gramplet Place Cleanup. Okay? Now, what I would like, number one, is I like to normalize date places, and if I get longitude and latitude for some mapping features, I'd really like to do that. So here I'm going to select a place, and I'm going to, where is the find? No matches, Abington, Mass. One of the things that I had to do was I had to initialize the this tool with, I had to sign up for a GeoNames website, and I had to give them my username. And I thought they saved it. Boom, boom. It should be able to do, here it is. Is it fine? No. So where is the button to let me find places, search for places? Oh, this is frustrating, because yesterday there was a find button under the place cleanup tab, and that allowed me to place coordinates. No, it wasn't the place coordinates one. Maybe, hold on, place coordinates. Okay, so this one automatically updated Abington, Mass as being in Plymouth County, Massachusetts, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what I wanted. So that's not the Gramplet that I wanted. Remove Gramplet, place coordinates, and it was place cleanup, and there was a find menu here. So let me choose again. Keep current enclosure, replace with GeoNames enclosure, add web link, keep web links, add citation and source to place. I don't care about that. Where is that cotton pickin' find button? I do not see it. So yesterday, yesterday when I did this, there was a find button, and when I clicked the find button, it would actually search out on the web for a particular website for the place, and it would give me some choices about how to populate the place. It was really nice, but for some reason, it is not there now. Is there an enable option that I needed to do? So if I go to manage, yeah, no, it should be there, but it's install selected. Okay, so let me say this about that. You're seeing me make mistakes with this program, and even if I'm doing this wrong, there is a certain lack of intuitiveness to Gramps. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of people yelling at me, oh, Gramps is easy to use, you know, this is you having the problems, etc. Even so, you know, if I'm coming in here as a beginner, okay, imagine the difficulty a true beginner would have trying to do this. And this was a pretty nice feature here. Let me remove the Gramplet. Okay, let me add it back. Place cleanup. Here, it's already populated the database. I've not configured it with my ID again. Okay. I wonder if it's not showing me find because it can't connect. That is my GeoNames user ID. So edforbecky.org. That's my email. Yeah, nothing different there. So let me put Ed for Becky back. All right, so yeah, part of the decision-making process is, do you want to deal with this sort of thing? Let me try one more thing, and I want to show you their website anyway. So this is the Gramps website, and let me drag it down here so that you can see the URL. And you see that the URL is gramps-project.org. Okay, so it's not just gramps.com. .org is more appropriate because it's a free product. And you can raise that back up there. You can go to download and download Gramps, and you can download it for Linux, for Mac OS, and for Windows. I'll go back. The wiki site is where the documentation is. There is extensive documentation. So let me search the documentation for place cleanup. Cleanup. Okay, and it's not showing up because it is not one of the free, it is not one of the default Gramplets. But if I just do, at the top, if I search for Gramps, place cleanup, Gramplet, see what it takes me to where I downloaded it. Yeah, it's an add-on, okay, so it's not by default. But it was here under add-ons, so I don't know why it wouldn't search for there. So it tells me what the purpose of the Gramplet is. I can't add new from that plugin, but I can clean up already existing. Here are the instructions for how to install add-ons in Gramps. I have to have a GeoNames account, which I do have. I needed to put my user ID here, which I did do. And then place cleanup Gramps. When I entered the title, I should have had this down here. So actually what it looks like, let me see if that was the problem. If it's really like down here, but it's not, like if I go full screen, it's not letting me scroll. There we go. Okay. All right. So, and I've seen this in other programs as well, where you actually had to force it to resize, and you had to give a certain amount of real estate before it did. It showed the very bottom, which is unfortunate. So now I'm going to do a find. And there were no matches for Harwick, Vermont. Let's try Hardwick. Boom. Okay, so now I have places to choose from. Now what do we've got? We've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to try and do this real quick. Now these are my choices, all right? And I like the one that is, I tried to find out what this meant. A colon versus P colon. But you see all these variations, but I'm going to choose the ADM31. And the reason I'm going to choose the ADM31 will become evident in a moment. I'm going to hit select, and I frequently forgot to hit select. Boom. And here's, it added the town of Hardwick. It added it as a town, put the primary name, and gave me longitude and latitude, and gave it a geo ID number. I'm gonna hit OK, but now I'm being asked to select the next level, and I can either choose Caledonia County, or I can choose the English version of that, which is just Caledonia. I think it's a matter of a standard here. I don't remember whether standard is, hey, always include the name county or not. I'm going to choose not to and hit OK. And then the next level is the state. I'm going to choose Vermont, hit OK. And now I've got a choice. What country is it in? I can choose United States of America, or I can choose United States. Pick one. Pick something that you want to consider your standard for organizing. I'm going to select OK and go to next place. Boom. And notice here that Hardwick has disappeared, but now what I have is a hierarchy. United States of America, the state is Vermont, Caledonia, and then the town is Hardwick. And when I look at the title down at the Hardwick level, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 levels, which is what I really wanted in those places where it makes sense. And I got this idea from a set of tutorials that I found, and I want to point those out. And this will be, I'll add this to the description. If I go to, bring up my browser, and bring up a new window over here, and if I go to YouTube, and I search for Gramps tutorials, there is a gentleman who did a whole set of Gramps tutorials from Tech Tutorials. And if I go to his page, you'll see here a playlist of a bunch of Gramps tutorials. Now, number one, I highly recommend these tutorials. I felt the gentleman was presenting these was engaging. I felt like he provided a lot of information, as well as he kind of showed us his process when he uses Gramps. But this is where I kind of need to come back around. Gramps is by far, I would say, the best Linux genealogy tree building software out there. And I think if you're a Linux user, the more technical nature of Gramps is going to be something that you're going to be more comfortable with. If you're a PC user, or if you're a Mac user, should you add Gramps to your genealogy toolbox? Well, I can't answer that question for you. This is kind of my summary, though. And this is more critical for beginners trying to find a program who are going to feel enticed to use Gramps because it's free. It is fully featured, number one. So that goes in your positive column when you're making that decision. It's highly customizable, which is, if that's what you want, boom, in the plus column. I feel that Gramps is easy to use if you know how to use it. Okay? And what I mean by that is I sat down and watched about 4 hours of this gentleman's tutorial videos to really get down to knowing how to use it. Now, once I did, I started feeling comfortable with the program. But you saw that even after watching the videos and playing with the program, there were still some glitchy things going on. I can attest that when I tried it on the Mac, there were other glitchy things going on. And I don't mean to imply that Gramps is overly glitchy. I think once you get used to it, if you know how to use it, it's easy to use. The other thing I'll say, and this is probably more about me than it is about Gramps, I have been spending more time prepping for this showcase than I spent prepping for any other showcase. Even the roundup ones that I did. I spent at least 2 weeks dedicated to learning Gramps off and on over that 2-week period. Then, and I didn't spend that much time on any other program. If you remember, I did a 7 days with Family Historian 7 episode, and I spent 7 days with it, using it a little each day. I've spent more time than that in trying to learn Gramps. So Gramps isn't going to be for everybody. But as is the, what's the word I want? The premise of the showcase is, I can't decide for you if Gramps is right for your genealogy toolbox. I showcased the program from a relative beginner's aspect. I gave you hopefully the information that you need to make a smart choice about choosing Gramps. So, and I'm just going to say this one more time. Gramps is easy to use if you know how to use it. Next week on the Genealogy Software Showcase, I have been working with Richard K. Miller, who is the creator of Goldie May. Now, I've never heard of Goldie May before, but it really got a feature upgrade at this latest Roots Tech. And Richard is going to be with us live to demonstrate Goldie May to us and answer our questions about Goldie May. I'm real excited about that episode, and I talked to Richard just before this episode started, and he's real excited about doing it too. So that's it in talking about Gramps. I don't see any questions in the live chat. If you are viewing this as part of the recorded video, feel free to leave comments with the YouTube video, and I will answer them as I see them. If you have any questions, there's an excellent user group out there, and there's excellent discussion groups out there about Gramps. So until next week, this has been the Genealogy Software Showcase. Let's go out and have some fun.